I wanted to make this a topics with Dino video series, or a video in that video series, but I kind of doubted to make a video like that since I have a perfect example video, well, one of the problems to say so, with education in the Balkans, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. In general, I have a kind of a problem, to say so, with the educational system. I don't know how it works in every country, of course. I know there's some countries with free education, etc. But I'm going to tell you about the educational system here in the Netherlands. And also parts which are fucked up in the Balkans as well. One of the things which I've realized, and I've finished a bachelor's degree on the University of Applied Sciences. I did study myself. I got a bachelor's degree. I got certificates, additional certificates, a lot of stuff on my resume. If there's one thing I have learned, is that when it comes to searching for a job and for certificates in school, it's really funny that some highly educated people are very bad or just don't know how to do their job. Those are people who never actually did their job, only went to school and then finished school and tried to do their job and then don't have any experience, working experience. What I can say from my experience, I did a business, IT and management study, computer science, however you want to call it. Once I finished school and started working, I basically used maybe 5 to 10% from what I've learned in 4 years of school. I only used the basics. An education or a degree does not guarantee that you're going to be good at your job. Neither does it guarantee that you get a higher wage. In the Netherlands, it works like this, that if you have a master's degree, your wage or financial benefit will only be seen after 5 years of working experience. Then you will have a higher wage due to your education. But let's start off with the problem in the first place. First of all, the education is not free in the Netherlands. You have to pay for it. Depending on what kind of studies you do, it's 2,500 euros. You have to, well, you don't have to, but a lot of students move to the city where their educational institute is. And then there is this issue where a lot of people cannot afford education. What they do, and people who move out can also have to take a loan or something to pay for the cost, because the costs of rooms, apartments and that kind of stuff are so high that you cannot pay off everything with a student job. It's almost impossible. I don't say it's impossible, but it's almost impossible. So almost all the students I know, almost all of them, let's say 99% from the Netherlands have student debt. And not student debt like 3 to 4K, student debt above 20,000 euros when they're finished. And in America, it's way worse. What you're creating is a problem where people who don't have a lot of money can and don't want to go get a loan or cannot get a loan, cannot go to school. The people who do get a loan go to school for 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, depending on your studies and the level that you want to achieve. And once you're finished, you already have a $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 debt that you have to pay back. So after you're finished with your school and your education, the first, let's say, 10 years, 5 to 10 years, depending, maybe even 15, depending on how much debt you have. Imagine you finish your school. After 5 years, you're 21, 22, maybe 24, depending on, of course, how fast you're going, what kind of studies you're doing. And then you have to work another 10 to 15 years to pay back that debt. Imagine being 35, 40 before you can actually start saving up money, maybe investing and that kind of stuff, or having a better or a higher standard of living when it comes to the financial situation. And at that age, most of the people already have kids, which will again cost money. So the moment that you take a loan, you're already set up to end up in this loop where you need a loan to study. After you finish your study, you can get a job, then you start working, and you have to pay back the same debt. It's just an ongoing loop. If you look at the quality of education and the impact of education on, let's say, the market for jobs, the job market, it's not that big. I've seen people with lower educational levels who have a lot of working experience reach way more or achieve way more in life than people with a university degree. I'm not saying that this is always the case. I'm saying that it is happening, and it happens a lot. It's not something that's occasional. It's happening a lot. I don't know the exact numbers. I don't think there is any research regarding all these numbers and levels of education because it's all different in every country. But I hope that everyone is getting the point at which I'm trying to make, is that the educational system, in my opinion, is broken, since it doesn't allow everyone to get the best education they want, and it is getting you stuck or bringing you in a loop where you're in debt and have to pay back debts and student debts and that kind of stuff. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you think regarding this educational system or this education topic, since I'm having a hard time finding a job with a university degree, additional certificates, working experience, internship experience, all kinds of stuff. For applying for a job, they're always going to say, oh, you don't have this, oh, you don't have that. And in 90% of the cases, after you get hired, you're not going to use those things, or you're not even required to have those things. So I've done many jobs, been hired in many firms, and after working there, or they say, oh, you need this level of language, you need these certificates for your job, and then I get the job, land the job because I do have those certificates and never end up using them whatsoever. People think that a certificate or a piece of paper or a diploma actually resembles your knowledge or your skill level at that thing. But usually it's just the basis and not anything else. You always need the working experience to back that diploma up. And if you don't have it, I can guarantee you, I've seen people with high degrees just be outrun and outblasted by people who have lower degrees but have working experience. And that's kind of I don't know, it's the fucked up thing in this world. Then in the Balkans, it's the thing that we're about to watch. In the Balkans, we have this problem with ethnical divisions. So instead of unifying our country, and instead of having one school where all the kids go to, or public school, they have schools in Bosnia divided on ethnic lines. So you go to the same school, but you have Croatian kids going to Croatian classes, Bosnian kids going to Bosnian classes. In a country which had a war based on ethnical division, religion, nationalism, and you're educating a new generation of kids into the same mindset, and nobody is doing something about it. Nobody. This is a real issue in the Balkans, and especially in Bosnia, because what is happening right here is going to be the breeding ground or the setup for a war in the future. And I can give my word on that. So let's check it out.
When Maya first met Sanin, theirs were unusual circumstances.
We actually meet as refugee children in Berlin.
When they met again, years later in Sarajevo, they bonded and fell in love, officially becoming what's described as a mixed couple, made up by people from Bosnia-Herzegovina's different ethnic groups, something increasingly rare in the country today.
People met each other, they love each other, no matter what your religion, ethnic group, or etc. That was a normal thing before the war. Yeah, I mean that period. You know, it's hard to explain what's happened now.
The deadliest conflict in Europe.
It was, and one of the reasons why I have an open mind to the whole Balkan region, quite an open mind. I don't say I'm completely open, because some things I just cannot accept / rule out, which in my opinion are really logical things. But even my family has a very large amount of mixed marriages from all the ex-Yugoslav countries. And this is the reason why I find it funny when I make a topic about Serbia, or I make a topic about Croatia, and someone's going, oh, the Bosnian is doing this, the Bosnian is doing that. No, because I go to all those countries. I have family in all those countries. I am really into those countries. I've been there for longer periods of time. I understand the system. I understand all the differences. And yet, I still don't hate anyone. I still don't preach hate. I don't have anything against anyone, to say so. And people still try to mark me like that in the comment section, which I find quite funny at times. But it's really beautiful to see. As you can see, they're looking really happy that this still exists till this day, because that what's happening right there is what's going to fix Bosnia and Herzegovina. If more people were like this, the country would be in a way better state. I would be open completely like this to any other ex-Yugoslav country to have a wife or a girlfriend or anything regarding the ex-Yugoslav countries, which is a big taboo in most families, and I wouldn't care whatsoever, because I don't obey these rules which have been made up. It's just bullshit, in my opinion.
Since World War II, the war in Bosnia killed 100,000 people and displaced over 2 million. No one here was left untouched. The Dayton Agreement, which brought the conflict to an end, divided the country into two administrative entities, the Bosnian Croat Federation and the Republika Srpska for Bosnian Serbs. Communities were splintered, and ethnic nationalism became a political tool.
We're not talking about genuinely unfulfilled nationalist goals. I think that these are simply a very useful tool to manipulate the public and...
Completely agree. Completely agree. Let's use ethnic divisions, historical events and religion to show people that we're different. There is only so much stuff on which we are different on. And there is so much stuff on which we are completely the same on or similar to each other. And that's something that you just cannot get into those people's head. They've been hearing those differences for so long and have been completely brainwashed to death with that bullshit that it's almost impossible to have a normal conversation with people in Bosnia.
Make sure that nobody asks question about why are public resources spilling into private pockets. Why do we have dysfunction?
Exactly. It's just a distraction from the real problems which are going on.
Judicial system. Why don't we have established principle of justice? Why is rule of law non-existent here? Because the question that dominates is us against them.
Exactly.
Us.
Exactly. Give this man a fucking balloon. Oh man. Finally, there are smart people in Bosnia. I'm not saying everyone is stupid, but it's getting rare these days.
And them, our concepts master knows too well.
Yep.
One of the front lines during the Bosnian War, the city remains divided into East and West. Here, 2 hospitals, 2 garbage collection groups, 2 electrical companies, 2 bus terminals and 2 fire brigades are among the utilities designed to serve the 2 communities in the city. One made up mostly of Bosniak Muslims and one of Catholic Croats.
It's still divided. We have this side and we have that side.
There is still definitely a lot of work to be done, as I already mentioned, especially with older generations who are still in that mind that they had during the war.
He's speaking so good English. I'm really proud of this younger generation in the Balkans.
In 2004, Mostar was ordered to unify, and on paper it did. On paper. Mostar's gymnasium, where local kids attend classes, is not your average high school. Inside the building, Bosniak and Croat students are separated. They go to
This is what I've been saying. Who comes up with this shit?
different classrooms, have different teachers, follow different curricula. Officials in the city managed to bring the 2 educational systems under the same roof, but failed to merge them.
From kindergarten, you have to choose whether to send your child to Bosniak or a Croat kindergarten. And children don't meet during education at all. They grow up apart. My biggest fear is that by separate educational system, we are building foundations for the next conflict.
Completely agree. If I had a head, hats off. It pisses me off so much. It's actually pissing me off. My blood is boiling watching this kind of bullshit. Literally boiling, because it's absolutely ridiculous that something like this is happening in the center of Europe, and under a Dayton Agreement, all this kind of stuff was never meant to happen. And our own government is not fixing it. But I don't know international law that well, but I just have some kind of feeling that this cannot be allowed by international law. Something has to be wrong. I guess I'm not sure, but this is so weird, so stupid, unbelievable.
25 years after the war, Bosnians are still struggling to build peace and create an environment where people can truly live together and maybe even fall in love. While Europe and the rest of the world witness the rise of populist nationalism, Bosnians say they offer an example of how dangerous it can be. Annelies Borges in Sarajevo for Euronews.
Completely retarded, that's what I call this. The educational system, not only in the West, as I explained early in the beginning of this video, is broken. It is broken and used, in this case, as a fucking political tool. It's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of this topic and this video. Leave a like if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel for upcoming videos, and I see you guys in the next video. Ciao.
Perfect.